Hi, Ms. Deb here, and for this choice time, we are going to explore what animation is. A little bit of history, and then we are going to create our very own animation. We are going to create a thaumatrope and then a flip book. When we think about animation currently, we think about movies and animated movies, what Disney makes. But the history of animation started long before the development of cinematography. Humans attempted to depict motion as far back as Paleolithic period, examples of which can be found on the cave or rock paintings. Here you can see a human being trying to hunt animals, and by looking at the figure you can tell that he's either running or jumping. Some kind of action is happening. A little bit later, in an Egyptian burial ground, a mural was found where sequential pictures of two wrestlers in action were found. About the same time in Iran, in an archaeological site, this pottery was found on which there was a drawing of an antelope jumping over a bush, and the antelope was shown in different position for jumping. So if you turn the pottery around, it will show you, it was like an animation, it will show you the antelope jumping over the bush. First we are going to make thaumatropes, and then I'm going to show you how to make a flip book. Here are some examples of thaumatropes, and you can create your own. Or what you will need to do is have two pieces of paper. It could be a square or it could be a circle. So if you're going to do a circle, you can either use a round template like a glass or something that has a round shape. I'm going to use a template that I have. First I'm going to draw two circles and I'm going to cut them out. Please make your cutouts at the edge of the paper so you will not waste the rest of the paper. If you draw it in the middle, you have to cut all the way through to the middle and the rest of the paper would be wasted. So make sure you're drawing your shapes on the one edge, so you will be having the rest of the paper to do more of thaumatropes. Now, in thaumatrope in early Greek means wonder turner. So what that does is, in one side of your thaumatrope you have one picture, in the other side another, and when you're turning it really fast, both those pictures merge together and it tricks your eye, and it will have as if both of those pictures have merged together. So after I cut those papers out, so make sure, here I'm drawing a flower, and the another one I am doing the leaf and a stem. So make sure that the flower is on one side, otherwise if you draw the flower in the middle, it will show up in the middle of your artwork. So after you've drawn it, please color it with anything that you have. Could be crayons, could be colored pencils, could be any other dry medium. So after you're done with that, we are going to put those two pieces of paper together, staple them together, and then we are going to put two strings on the side so you can turn it. One thing you will see later, a little bit later, that I made a mistake of putting these two round papers together. So it would be easier for you when you put it in a square piece of paper, but in round, be careful. The one side of pictures has to be upside down than the other. So I am putting it the wrong way because I have the stem in the correct order, and the picture, the flower is on the top of the stem. So when I discovered when I was turning it that the flower was at the bottom where the leaves are. So I'm going to create another one to show you to do it the correct way. So I'm making a hole punch on both sides, and you will need 2 strings to go make it into a loop. Put it through the loop, both of them, and there you go. And now I'm going to turn it. Oh, I discovered that the leaves and the flower are on the same side. So I put the 2 papers together in the wrong way. So I'm going to create another one, 2 more circles and 2 more threads. I'm going to draw a different flower. So it's easier if you make something that doesn't matter if it's upside down or not. But in some artworks like the flower and leaves, it's a bit trickier. So if you do a spider and a spider web, it will be easier because it doesn't matter if the spider is upside down or not. But if you do like a smiley face, the smiley face and the eyes would be on upside down area. So you have to make sure that you're putting it down the right way. Since I made a mistake last time in assembling it, I am trying out another one. So I'm going to do the same picture of flowers, and this time I'm going to add 2 buds. So here currently I am coloring them. Remember to color with something dry and not any wet medium, because otherwise the paper will get wrinkled. One thing I'll tell you is if you have 2 strings on both sides, I'm just going to remind that, then the picture is going to turn upside down. So both whatever you have in the front or in the back, they have to be one has to be upside down. But if you're doing side by side, which I am going to show you later, both the pictures can be the same side up. I have finished coloring the flower, and I'm trying to figure out where the stem should go. So I have both the papers side by side, so I can figure out how long I need the stem to be. So it helps to have some kind of reference on the side. So I'm creating 2 branches, and I'm going to create 2 flower buds on those 2 branches. So you will see in a moment when I am ready to do the buds. I'm still going to have the paper on top over there, like the flower paper, and I'm trying to figure out where the buds need to be. I'm just like eyeballing the positions, and then I'm going to draw the 2 buds and I'm going to color them. That way, when you're turning the thermotrop, they are going to end up as if they're at the end of those branches. I'm drawing the leaves now. After this, I will assemble it together. I'm trying to figure out how to assemble it together and line the branches with the flower up. So I'm flipping it over quite a few times. But I just realized I have it's the correct way. The stem is right upwards, and so is the flowers at the end. So I'm going to turn it now like that, so that when I assemble, use the thermotrop as a toy, it will end up looking the same way. So now that the branch is upside down, and you will see in a moment the flower and the base of the branch or the bush is the same side. So that is the trick of thermotrop. So make sure that you are making the base of one of the pictures is upside down. Just notice that the flower and the base of the bush is on the same side. I'm going to assemble make the holes and put the strings. I'm just making doubly sure that the base of the bush is lined up with the flower, so that it will be exactly lined up and will trick your eye when we're twirling it. I'm making the holes and I'm going to put in the strings right now. In a moment I will twirl it and you will see that it works. There you go. Looks like it's working. Oops, I tore it. I have to fix it and I'm going to redo it. So the next one is the square thermotrop. So we are going to get 2 sheets of paper. This is way easier, believe me. So I'm going to draw a border on one side and a cage on the other side. In this case, I'm going to insert a straw, so it will be twirled side to side and not upside down. In that case, you do not have to have one of the papers upside down. All you have to remember that you're going to draw, whatever you're going to draw, they match up. So I'm going to again color with colored pencils. You can draw or color with any kind of dry medium. Just remember not to use any wet mediums because it will wrinkle your paper. So I am coloring my bird blue. This time I decided to have a cage and a bird. So cage will be on one paper and the bird will be in the next. So I'm done with the bird. And I'm going to draw the cage big. The only thing I have to make sure that the cage that I'm drawing is way larger than the bird. If it was smaller, then it would look weird, right? The bird would look smaller than bigger than the cage. And if you're deciding on something else, like maybe a snow globe with something inside, make sure the snow globe is way bigger than whatever you want to have inside that snow globe. And you can have that flower thing over there too. It will be way easier because both the pictures, the stem and the flower, even though on different sheets, they should be the right side up and not one of them should not be upside down. So try both and see how that works. So I'm done with drawing the cage here. And then we are going to assemble it together with the staples again. So I'm going to use a straw and I'm going to staple only 3 sides. So on one side I can insert the straw like that. Make sure when you're stapling it, all the papers are lined up. Now I'm going to twirl it side to side, and see, the bird is inside the cage and it's tricking your eye. So remember, it's a Greek word called wonder twirler. The thaumatrons. And so you can choose to have like a spider in a spider web, and anything else you want to choose to do. So here is the bird. So here it shows the string on both sides. The cage is upside down, and it shows you the steps of how to make assemble it together and how the end product will look. Now I'm going to show you how to make flip books. For making flip books, you will need at least 20 sheets of paper that is up in the height about 2 inches long, and for the width you will have to have at least 5 inches long sheets of paper. So it was like a book, so you have to have that many sheets of paper put together. So I took a big sheet and I just cut them out into the right size. Here is a flip book that I already have, and I'm going to show it to you how it looks when it's turned fast as well as slow. So you can have a look at all the different positions that have to make it into an animation. So when you draw in all the pages, a little bit different than the rest. When you flip it fast, it will look as if it's moving all together. So here's a slow one with all the different positions, and then I will move it fast to show you how it works. Now I'm going to do it fast. Here's another one with slow, and then I'm going to do it fast next time so you can tell the different positions that they have. So now we are going to create our own. So we already put together about 20 sheets of paper. Give it a name for your animation. So mine is going to be man running. I am doing a very rudimentary one. You can make as fancy as you want. And so every time since a man is going to run, I'm going to draw the first one absolutely at the end, like the left side of the paper, and gradually I will move the man to the right side of the paper. So first, draw it with pencil first, so in case you make a mistake, you can always erase it. So I did a stick figure, so you can get as fancy as you want. So I'm just looking at where the last artwork was, and I'm going to make the next drawing a little bit to the right. So it will look like as if the man is moving from the left to the right. And I changed the position of the legs and the hands. I have not finished drawing all the positions. I just wanted to show you how it is looking currently. So I will finish it off later so you can create your own. Maybe at the end I will have the man showing jumping up and down. One thing I noticed that when I was flipping, my papers were not all same. It was very difficult for me to flip fast. So I'm trying to make sure I trim the edges so that it will be all nice and smooth. So make sure when you're making the flip book that the edges are nice and smooth, so it will be easier for you to turn all the pages at the same time. So I hope you enjoy doing all the flip books and all the thaumatrops. Create as many as you want, and happy creating!